What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Destroy coming at you with a nice 12-game slate tonight. Gotta love NHL for how they've had the last 3 days. I had a 13-game slate the other day, a 2-game slate yesterday, and then a 12-game slate today. So, yeah, gotta love the scheduling there. Makes it easier. And I believe tomorrow's a 3-game slate. So, not very promising, but yeah, it's like the bigger slates anyway. More picks. There's more picks, less ownership for the most part. So, yeah, let's get right into some goalies. And we have some expensive goalies tonight. Binnington is the most expensive at 85. Quite a few goalies above 8K starting tonight. Johansson for Buffalo, I think, is probably going to be the most interesting pick to see the ownership for him. He came in against Colorado the other night and only allowed 1 goal after Colorado was just destroying them. He came in and did a pretty good job. We have yet to see him in the NHL. They have his stats down here: 13-3-3 record and a 925 save percentage in the AHL. And he's going against a weak Detroit team that's very hurt, but at the same time, Detroit can play good. Buffalo has played terrible as of late with quite a few injuries to their team. So Detroit can be a very good play here against a goalie that, like I said, came in against Colorado, who was shooting very well and shut them down for the most part. But we just haven't seen a sample size of him in the NHL to really go for or against him right now. So interesting to see the ownership there tonight. Carey Price against Anaheim, 8,300. I'm not too high on just because Anaheim doesn't take the best shots in the world, and he's just way too expensive. Anaheim can easily score some goals. Thomas Greiss against LA, I think, is probably one of my favorite plays for expensive goalies. The only reason being is the Kings take a lot of shots, but they don't score a lot of those shots. So he's obviously in there. New York's home. They're the favorite. 8,300, he's probably my favorite goalie tonight, above 8K. Elliott right behind him. A couple of injuries for the Devils make it very interesting, especially key players for the Devils. Philly is a big favorite here tonight. Blackwood's going to be opposing them. So Brian Elliott's not a bad option here at 8,200. I'm just worried about how many shots the Jets are going to have against Elliott. Haven't seen the goalie for Colorado tonight. Sorry, we missed one. Tampa Bay's goalie, BOBROVSKY, is playing against Pittsburgh tonight. Played the 1 game against Pittsburgh earlier. Only allowed 2 goals, had the 35-shot bonus. 27.9 points. I'm just not going to go for it, though. Pittsburgh just way too capable of high-scoring games. Bobrovsky from Florida, my God, look at his numbers. They are just disgusting lately. They haven't played easy teams either. They played a red-hot Columbus team, and he shut them down. They lost in overtime. He played, Toronto, one of the highest shooting teams, best shooting teams. Lost to Montreal, allowed 4 goals, his worst game of them. Played Chicago, allowed 3. I mean, his numbers are really good. Florida allows a lot of shots, and if they have a couple of injuries that they've had go away, then Bobrovsky has a higher chance of winning, especially against a Vegas team that shoots a lot. So there's value there. I'm not too high on the Calgary goalies tonight. Stalock, I'm not too high on him either. Edmonton, the same thing. Both those guys, like, if it wasn't for Edmonton scoring, that team would be so bad because of their defensive play and their goaltending. Antti Raanta, I think, is one of my favorite plays tonight, playing against Carolina. And Carolina is another team that could shoot the puck well. Does shoot the puck a lot. Arizona allows a lot of shots, but Antti Raanta has just been playing really good lately. The game that they did play against Carolina, he was only in the game for 40 minutes. I believe they took him out. Got you 7 fantasy points. Against Anaheim and Edmonton, he played bad. And then played Edmonton again just recently, shut him out, and did a really good job of shutting down the Blackhawks for the most part. Yeah. So he's one of my more favorite plays there. Carolina against Arizona, same thing. Those guys are both cheap. Aaron Dell against Edmonton. I mean, this is just one of those matchups you love to see. He hasn't been playing too bad recently compared to how he was before, but he's playing an Edmonton team who is just shooting the puck a lot and making a lot of those shots. Their shooting percentage is one of the best since the All-Star break, so it's worth a look there. Pittsburgh definitely not taken against Tampa Bay. That's crazy. If Fleury's in net for Vegas, maybe I like Vegas. Maybe I like Fleury, but if Fleury's not in net, there's not a chance. We go down Blackwood. I'm not too high on Pecorine, Saros, whoever's in net there. That's a really good play for him. And then I think one of the cheapest plays that you have to like tonight is Detroit goalies against Buffalo. Buffalo has shot quite a few shots lately, but they have yet to score a lot. They're one of the worst teams since the All-Star break to score. They have a lot of key injuries. If Bernier's in, I mean, for 7,000, a guy that's got you 10 plus fantasy points in the last 6 out of 7 games, that's not too bad. So, worth a look there. Defenders, no one above 8K today, thankfully. Quite a few players above 7K, though. But for me, I'm staying right around the 5,500 and lower range. The two Vancouver defenders, Edler, Hughes, really good options there against Minnesota. Carlson, like I said, Edmonton's defense is just terrible. Their goaltending is terrible. Carlson gets a lot of shots, gets a lot of play time, so worth a look there. With Shea Weber just getting announced, Jeff Petry and that whole Montreal defense change, Petry is obviously going to get the power play look now, and he's going to see the most play time there. So he's a viable option. PULOCK with the Islanders playing against the Kings after just that trade that went down. The Islanders are probably one of my favorite teams tonight here, and PULOCK is a part of that. CHABOT playing against Colorado. I mean, this guy's one of those guys, the defenders that can go off. So I like him there too. If I'm playing Ronta, I'm not going to get to any Carolina players tonight just because you don't want to play against your goalie in a huge slate. That's not typical. Spurgeon, Dumba, both great plays for me tonight. I like them both. PK Subban's fully healthy. I like him with some of the injuries going down. Ryan Graves, if you like that Colorado offense, which I do, he's your guy there. Nurse going with that high-powered Edmonton offense, really good option. We go down. Neil Poniak is good for blocks tonight. And then Keith Yandel, obviously, if Florida's top 6 are all healthy, he becomes more of a like for me. We're going to go down a lot. There's good options here, but one of the cheap plays that I like is at 2,600. Mike Reilly, one of my favorite plays tonight. The reason being is he's only played 12 games so far with Ottawa. He's gotten 6 points in the 12 games. He's got 25 shots, 13 block shots, and his minutes have been going up recently. They went down. So you could see he used to play in the 20s, and now they've gone up. Really good option here against a Colorado team that doesn't play as good defense as they do offense. So really good option there. Wingers, obviously you can go Tampa Bay against Pittsburgh. The Colorado one is, if you want to pay that much for Colorado one, it's going to pay off. But if they don't, you lose tonight. They are the most expensive line tonight, maybe besides Tampa Bay one, but yeah, they're up there in price. Winnipeg one's not that expensive. I just don't like them against St. Louis. Montreal's forward one, very good tonight against Gibson, especially being home. Max Pacioretty, he is 7,000, but I mean, with the amount of shots he's taken, we could just look at it on the road, he takes less shots than he does at home. But the last 10 games, he's taken an average of 6 shots a game. Only gotten 5 points, but man, taking 6 shots a game and getting you that bonus is pretty good. Obviously, Buffalo won. Depending on the injuries tonight, you can go Buffalo 1 playing a terrible Detroit team. I'm just not as high as I want to be on them right now. Going Pittsburgh against Tampa Bay. Like I said, Pittsburgh can easily explode, but I'm not just too high on them. Their prices are fair for how they played recently. Nashville against Calgary. I really like that today, especially Nashville's power play. So if you can get a hold of any of those power play units, that's really good there. San Jose, Evander Kane. With San Jose losing one of its star players, Evander Kane moves up and he takes a lot of shots, and that's what you want. I'm just not as high on him as I am some other teams, especially Ottawa. Ottawa won really good price. Like I said, against a terrible Colorado defense. Calgary's number 1 is really good if you feel like Pecorine is your guy to go tonight. Definitely don't target Calgary, but Calgary's in a really good spot too. Their number 1's good. If you're going with, if you don't like Bobrovsky for Florida, obviously target Vegas. Like I said, they've been shooting a lot, and Florida's allowed a lot of shots, so it's a good play for him, especially if you want to go with Max Pacioretty. Nugent Hopkins. His line has just been phenomenal lately. I believe it's the top 2 scoring line since they have their new line mate, and their line's really not that expensive. So yeah, that Edmonton 2 is probably higher than Edmonton 1 for me. Philly, a lot of people are high on Philly. I don't know how I feel about them yet. They're a very high Vegas favorite. It's just their scoring is all over the place. I mean, they've scored, you can look, at least 3 goals in the last 5 games. It's just who's going to score for them. That's what's killed me lately of trying to predict Philly, but Philly 1, Philly 2, definitely really good, especially Hayes there. Blake Coleman is slowed down a little bit with shots. I mean, some of the games he's gotten 3 or 1, and then you get other games like against Montreal and he shoots 8. So always worth the option, but he is missing one of his line mates, so that his value goes down. Like I said, the Florida top 2, if they're all healthy, they're really good for me. Vancouver, just not as high for me as I want. Islanders, I mean, we'll go to the Islanders really, really quick, guys. Check it. Lee Eberle, 53, 51. And then BARZAL is 61, and he's the guy leading the charge there, playing against a terrible Kings team who just did some trades, so that locker room might be bad there. Go on to centers. Like I said, Colorado 1, just really expensive. Eichel is one of everybody's favorite plays today. He's not really there for me. Just because you look at the game against Detroit, 2 games against Detroit, only taking 6 shots, 3 points in the 2 games, which is good, but for 8,400, that's not where you want to be. We can go down. Carolina's not too high if I'm going Ronta tonight. Dylan Larkin, his line, like I said, with how terrible Buffalo's played, especially seeing a different goalie in there that we haven't seen, his line's not expensive at all. I believe he plays with Bertuzzi and Fabry. Bertuzzi 58, Fabry 49. He's only 65. That's not too bad there. It's just a big risk for a goalie we haven't seen yet. Like I said, Philly, both centers are right there. Torre and Goudreau. Bo Harvard, I'm not. Vancouver, it's hard to really like forwards as much as I do their defenders for some reason for me. But yeah, their defenders are always high on my list. Vancouver, that is. JT Miller's probably my favorite Vancouver skater there. Another line I kind of do like it is whatever line TT's on here. The reason being, last 10 games, he's taken 37 shots. The Kings team has taken a lot of shots. If you like Greece tonight, like I said, good play there. Those guys are going to get some shots. If they do get a couple through, his line is going to be the line that does it. Go down a little more. Obviously, I don't know why some people don't like the line. Or St. Louis one, I forgot to talk about, was a really, really, really good line there. Schenn or O'Reilly, actually their top two is a really good play against Winnipeg. Both St. Louis is a favorite. Both lines have been playing really good. I'd probably go O'Reilly's line over Schenn's line, though. One of the lines I have to continuously talk about, just because they've been so good lately. Not all of them combined, or not individually, but all of them combined have just been playing really good. Is Nick Bonio's line with Craig Smith. We can actually pull it up for you. Go to Nashville. We get Nick Bonio 4,300, Craig Smith 39, and then Rocco Grimaldi. Like, those three guys have just been playing really good as a unit lately. Obviously, Craig Smith and Bonio are probably the two you want to target over Grimaldi, but yeah, that line is always a sleeper line for me, and they're always so cheap. So that's just some of the plays tonight, guys. As far as centers, sorry, one more line. My last line I want to talk about is we're going to go to Colorado. And we're going to go down. If you want to fade Colorado 1, that's perfectly fine. Because you go down and you get Andre Bobrovsky. In the last 10 games, he's gotten 14 points, taken 18 shots, averaging 12.2 fantasy points a game lately. The last 5, he's gotten a point. The last 4, he's gotten at least 2 points. His line has been playing out of this world. And they have a very good option against a Colorado goalie. We go to Colorado, go to their goalie, whoever they have. Let's go Marcus HOGBERG, we'll say. Going to be home. Plays pretty good at home. We go to Craig Anderson, who might be in tonight. And guess what? They lose a lot when he's at home. Colorado's been scoring a lot lately. So you go to his line mates. Kadri is the center for that line. Look at his points lately. Been playing really good. And then you go to his other line mate, which I believe is Nish Cushion. Yes, it is. Go to his numbers. Really good. Not as good, but yeah, that line is just playing really, really good. So that's another cheap sleeper line tonight, guys. Almost forgot about it. I was going to be so mad at myself if I did. So anyway, that's some of my lines and players that I like tonight, and some of the guys that I don't want to get to unless injury news happens or something else happens. But yeah, it's the lines and players for tonight's 12-game slate. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thank you for all the support, and we will see you in the next video.